All right, everyone, welcome back. One wave of superheroes that had no superpowers to the next. Here we have Batman Returns. This is a game a lot of people in RGL have seen me run. It was the game that got me into speedrunning. This is the category I first ran. It's also, to me, still the most fun category in the game. Easy percent is great because it allows for a lot of really fast kills on enemies that other difficulties don't allow. So just to verify that we have this as our difficulty, we're going to go ahead and hit start, move on to our screen, and then 3, 2, 1, go. Mash our way through this cutscene. A little history I have of this game. I remember playing it at a friend's place for his birthday. He rented it that weekend, and I mean, I hadn't really played a Batman beat 'em up before, and I was like, this game is completely amazing. Look at everything you can do. You have batarangs, you can punch. You have a zip line that I haven't really made much use of yet. As I grew up, though, managed to discover through a bevy of resources that Batman actually has an infinite in this game that he can do through use of a block button. Interesting to note for the time, because Konami beat 'em ups didn't really implement a block button, like, at all. Take care of those guys. That guy wanted to act up. That was unfortunate. Sometimes if the guy spawns too early, he gets in the way of that. Good thing we got to take care of this guy, though. So you're going to see me doing a lot of this. Most effective way of doing a lot of damage very, very quickly. Didn't want that. Primarily because it didn't kill him. Decent setup, though. There's also going to be a lot of grab usage. Grabs get you a lot of damage very, very quickly, such as like so. Great sound design, too, with the breaking windows and everything. Hope that killed the fire clown on the bottom left. It did. Noggin Knocker is also a very useful move, which I think at the time was actually unique for beat 'em ups, being able to just collide into two enemies into each other like that. Last bit of strat, we're going to kick over that mailbox, drop a test tube, which clears the whole screen of enemies. You'll be seeing a lot of those. Double kill on those guys with the Super Joy. The other thing you didn't see a lot of Konami games, this game is more like Final Fight than it is your standard Konami beat 'em up like TMNT or Simpsons or something. One, you have an infinite, much like what you see in Final Fight. And two, having a get off me move like a Super Joy really isn't common for games from this developer. This room is pretty simple. All we're going to do is walk to the right. Only one thing can hit us, which it did. Not too concerned. For our boss, we have a cinematic moment where we get to pull out the wall and hit him with it. Pretty great. Not my best fight, but still tolerable. Let's link it up there. You did, Miss Kyle. You seem to have dropped your glasses. We're actually going to do a quick bypass here. Mashing start there just always skips through cutscenes. You, of course, have no reason not to do that. Yo, Infinite Mystery with a gifted sub to Blush Dragoon. Thank you so much. Everybody give that man a retro win. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, buddy. Thank you so much for that gift, I am. Blessed, enjoy the 5 minutes extra in raffle time and the new GG emote that's been gifted to you. This is one of my favorite things to do. Just give that guy the bomb, and it kills his buddy who's on the way in. A little Noggin Knocker action there. Noggin Knocker's so good. It does so much damage. For these guys on the way in. Little thing to explain about test tubes. With the exception of bosses, they kill everything on the screen. However, it's important to note that for speed purposes, you want to make sure they're being used at proper times, not just doing it whenever you feel like it. One of my least favorite enemy traps there because of that foreground object. So here's something we can do on easy we can't do in other difficulties. Saw me walk the guy over the bomb there. Other difficulties that wouldn't kill him. Walk him over that way. One of my favorite setups here. Choke slam a guy into a moving bike. Looks great, feels so satisfying. We'll set up there. You'll see me do a lot of grab release stuff like that. With the exception of some bosses, when you do grab releases, for the first few frames they are invincible, so you can't just start matching punch right away. But if you're in a position where you allow yourself to delay it a little bit, you can get some really good setups out of that. As you just saw there. Quick damage boost there. Another side-scrolling section where we only have batarangs as our primary form of offense. We'll be punching here. Let these guys get off the elevator. I should do a premature grappling hook here. Oh wow, they both want our autograph. Okay, fair enough. Got another damage boost we're going to take here after the place sets on fire. I like to call this section "This is fine" for obvious reasons. You can damage boost off those logs, but I don't recommend it. Those logs do a lot of damage, and they can make things look a lot worse later. Now onto one of the longest rooms in the game. Take that guy out. This is our first time we're going to see sword clowns too. Sword clowns are actually fairly dangerous. Batarangs don't work on them in the strict sense. Technically they can block them, but the upside is when they block them, they still take a ton of damage. Or they still get sort of stunned, it's just not a true stun. Drop a test tube here. The rest of the guys are going to just have too much health for us to want to deal with. This right here is going to actually be one of the harder sections. Very 50-50 here. You want that guy to throw it, but he decided to hold it this time, which doesn't really surprise me. He almost always does. Nice, that was good. Too bad I didn't kill that guy. Have a quick despawn here. By knocking these guys, the fat guy on the left should be despawned. Okay, we got it. That's cool. We get another guy coming in. Drop a couple test tubes. Take care of some waves of enemies that we just don't want to deal with. Drag this guy over here. That was rude. Guess he wanted nothing to do with me. Can you really blame him? Last quick test tube. Why that doesn't take out the guy in the back, I don't know, because he's obviously our boss. And the infinity you've been seeing through the entire game is now going to be minimized down to one punch, so we can take care of our bosses, like so. Punch him directly in the nipple, and get the 10 count for the win. I've told this story many times, but that strat right there, when I discovered it, or when I found out it works on bosses, is what got me into speedrunning. It's just so much fun to do that. Putting enemies in place and not letting them be able to move, that's like... It's my favorite thing, man. I don't think there's really anything else to say to cover it. It's actually my favorite thing in gaming. Favorite strat here. Get this guy to take a swing at us, he's going to walk past, and jump off for reasons, I guess. I guess he was sad he didn't hit Batman, so we're just going to let these clowns keep jumping like lemmings. Let that guy get punched. Aside from that bit of nonsense, that's just an auto-scroller. But you want to make sure all the enemies are gone before anything else can happen. Another quick wave of clowns. They're going to do the same thing. If we crouch in place, they won't touch us. This one's actually my favorite. After he takes 2 swings, just walk up to him and he does the same thing. Next stage, much like this one, is also going to be just a short side scroller. Batarangs is our only offense. This one, however, actually involves a bit of platforming, which is a decent break. Just fall all the way down there. That's honestly the fastest thing I've been able to find. It's a weird one, though. I really didn't want that guy to spawn. Here, we're going to delay that a little bit, delay the torch throwing. Hopefully, we can avoid all this. Getting hit by any of that spawns another enemy, so making sure you get through that with key dodging is crucial. For this section, we actually have a visual trigger. We're going to just mow down enemies in the meantime, because why not? So our visual trigger we're looking for is when 2 bombs are going to drop. There we go. A couple more enemies are going to drop here. They're going to fire a rocket. I'm going to throw a test tube. That's going to end that. The reason we throw that test tube is if we kill any enemies prior to that, as in if we have less than 3 sprites, another tall clown spawns, and he prevents our progress. Like, we'll actually move through the stage slower, and we don't want that. Moving on to Catwoman, one of the hardest bosses in the game. We can stun lock her, so let's hope we're able to. I'm going to go ahead and take quiet real quick. Ah, dropped it. Got to kill her with a test tube at least, so that's something. Almost had it, but eh. That's the closest I've been in the past 4 runs I've had or so. I'm getting a bit rusty on that. The stun locker, I love it. Anyway, that'll take care of her. For stage 4, this stage is really weird. The first room's completely random, with a couple exceptions. This first guy is always just a guy who drops from the ceiling. They only have 2 hit points. Like, well, not 2 hit points, but they die in 2 punches. We're going to dance them a little bit. The reason we do that is because if we end up just tearing through enemies left and right, all we're going to get is more enemies. These enemies are based on music cues. Like, if you kill a certain number of enemies before a particular wave, or a particular part of the... What I use is the audio cue for it. Then all you do is get more enemies, and who wants that? Let these guys jump, so I can do that. Okay, that'll move us on to our next room. That was actually a pretty good room. Let's see if I can group both these guys together. Good stuff. Lots of health there. Here's our first use of test tubes here. We're going to drop that one. Take care of this guy as he comes in. Drop another test tube, take care of those guys. The reason I fought the guy on the top right and this guy on the left is because they had the least amount of health. They're very easy to take care of in that regard. Take care of those guys, drop another test tube to kill all 3 guys on the left. That'll move us on to our next room. It's just a Catwoman rematch, but it's a lot easier because she can't go invincible here. She can't do her backflips. Same number of hits, though. She has the exact same amount of health. The only thing we're going to change is how we're going to finish her off. See if I can get through some of these punches. And the reason we slam her to the left like that is because after she dies, she walks over to the Ice Princess. If she dies on the right, it takes her a lot longer to get back to the left. That's why we take her to the left in that case. Now, the actual hardest boss in the game. This penguin tries to make this a fair fight, which means he tries to make it in his favor. Like, you can't actually punch Penguin. This is strictly a battering fight. Did not want that. Hardest part about it is just avoiding him. He does so much damage when he touches you. The umbrellas really aren't that bad. The explosive ones are more annoying. The ones that he actually can throw as projectiles really aren't that bad. Really didn't want to take a death there, but things happen. Generally tend to go for less than 2 cycles, but we'll take that. Generally about like 1.7, 1.8 cycles is fine, but we made some mistakes. Hardly a big deal. Get our cutscene here where the Ice Princess falls off the roof. You don't get it, watch the movie. They frame Batman to make Gotham think that he killed her and yada yada yada. Pretty cheesy little movie, but I think it's worth watching. It's very Burton-esque, but it's super campy and it's weird and goth and oddly enough kind of fun to watch. Probably my second favorite Christmas movie after Die Hard. This stage is just all mode 7, purely auto-scroller. I'm not even accelerating the Batmobile. It moves strictly at its own velocity. The only control we have are these little discs we can shoot out the front of the Batmobile. I tend to try to kill as many enemies as possible because that spawns the next wave of enemies faster. And there's a finite number of groups of enemies that we have to fight before we reach the boss. Essentially, though, there's unfortunately not a whole lot to talk about this level. It's a 2-minute auto-scroller. Probably the worst thing in the run. Dodging some missiles. Can't believe I missed it. Something about the wings on the Batmobile. I don't know why. I've always loved that touch. Something I feel like the Nolan trilogy missed out on. If it had wings, I definitely don't remember it. Take care of these duders. Hey, same shot. Nice. It was like a frame-perfect double kill. Good-ish. Another wave of these guys. Just randomly high-health duders. Shoot them, dodge their rockets. It's the usual. Luckily, this is the last wave of enemies before the boss. For meme reasons, this is probably my favorite boss in the game. Here we have the campaign van. Because here comes the pain, I suppose. Anyway, he only has 2 forms of attack. Avoiding the motorcycles is pretty standard. He can shoot rockets at you, and he can drop those little dynamite caltrops that he had there. Our goal is to make sure we can deal enough damage to him to where he's just going to start volleying rockets like he is now. Dodge them, shoot him. Lather, rinse, repeat. Pretty easy stage, once you understand how dodging patterns work. I'll clear out stage 5. Also, shoutouts to how that just beautiful Gotham background there. Alright, last couple stages. Penguin's now been outed. He's now purely a villain. He's gone crazy. Yada, yada, yada. Move forward with some clowns. Drop a quick test tube here. Followed by another one, because I don't want to fight fat clowns. They have too much health. I'm going to fall forward to this guy. Noggin knocker there. I wanted to make sure that guy wasn't stunned before I moved on with anything else. Pretty good stuff there. Pro tip here, you're going to see some explosives fly in from the top. If you stay on the very, very top plane on this pixel, much like I was showing earlier in TMNT Arcade, the bombs won't hit you. Anything that the clowns do can hit you, but the bombs won't hit you. Pretty fantastic stuff. Really didn't want that guy to get hit, I really just finished it myself, but that still works. Okay, move on to the right. Here's where things are going to start getting really complicated, because now you have to deal with these bars that show up. I'm actually just going to block here. You'll take ship damage from these things, but they are going to kill any enemies that get in their way, which is really nice. We chokeslam there because it gives us iframes. It's very, very useful. Okay, so we're going to keep blocking. More iframes. Last couple sections for some test tubes. Not too bad. We'll wind us right into the end. This is actually one of my favorite boss fights. It's another stun lock boss, but I love the visual of it because this guy actually has clowns that flank him. But if you're standing in the sweet spot the whole time, they just all get vortexed in. The timing's altered a little bit because you have additional enemies, but the stun lock is still very much possible. Shoutouts to the poor little monkey on the left side, too. Do my best to maintain this. Be back with you all in just one moment. Okay. Glad I was able to get that. Okay. For our last stage, it's essentially more of what we just saw on the train. Just a lot more of it because it's a lot longer. Gonna get really crazy. These guys are gonna throw their bombs. I'm gonna tag him. Guy got in the way first. I hate it when that happens. The setup you want is you want to be able to hit both of them with that, all three of them with that bomb, which is entirely possible. But sometimes the guy with the bomb gets behind, and you hit the guy in front of him, and that's never good. That's not what I wanted either. Gross stuff. Really don't want those both spawn at the same time either. Mentioned before, batarangs really are only used for stunning enemies, but for motorcycle enemies, it just kills them outright, which is awesome. Trying to get a despawn here. Go collide into a fire clown. Alright, we got it. Nice. Despawn I'm referring to is there's a fire clown that spawns in off screen from that direction. And if you knock the motorcycle into him, it just takes him completely off screen, and it's awesome. Another hazard to deal with. Here we have these rockets. Rockets are a real hazard. Luckily on easy, they're very simple to avoid. There's actually sweet spots for them, which is nice. Like, I can just stand right here and not get hit by a single rocket. Do that because I wanted the Noggin Knocker to kill him, and it did. Pretty great. This section is actually fairly interesting because you have two groups of enemies who complement each other very, very well. Those being the fire clowns and the fat clowns that jump. I'm just gonna drag this guy over here so I can get them. Of course, we have one yellow guy spawn in from the left, just like we do with the previous one and the one after this. I'm gonna zip line into both these guys, get them over here so I can get a setup. Rockets are gonna help us out too, which is neat. Again, more just enemy grinding. Just all about how you're able to deal with certain enemy groups more than anything. These purple clowns are actually pretty tough because they have a lot of health. Didn't want that. Okay. One last guy, as always. I'm actually going to do that to stun him so I can finish him off. At the very end of this first room, all we're going to do is just take him to Test Tube City. We've got 4 of them, so we might as well use them. Bomb the heck out of the place. One of those points, oh well. Alright, last 2 bosses. First one's this giant duck vehicle. Missed a hit, that's unfortunate. Rubber ducky, you're the one. This is still just so ridiculous. But it was in the movie, so. So missed some hits there. Okay. Really though, just make sure you count out your batarangs. Sometimes they can just go invincible, which is really weird because they haven't recovered from hit stun. This will take us on to Penguin. Can also stun lock him, but it's the hardest one in the game to stun lock. Let's hope we get it. I didn't think so. I was going a little too slow there. Okay, we got. I tend to do that just to try to make sure I can hit him out of the air. Okay, that'll finish him off. Surely not my best run, but it was still a great time. Again, the full touch of death is possible, and we'll call time right there. It's like right at the start of the final cutscene. As soon as you hear the music, there it is. Certainly not my best penguin fight. You can touch him and kill him. It's just obnoxiously hard. Ugh, lots of frame window drops there. Thank you for all the GGs, everybody. Still though, I love this game. I don't know if it certainly wasn't my favorite SNES game growing up, but as far as speedruns go, this one I honestly think if you're into beat 'em ups is completely top notch. Just so much cool stuff going on with it. And again, how can you not love a game where you have an infinite, you know? So great. And we get a nice shot of Michelle Pfeiffer to close this out. Alright guys, hope you all enjoyed that. Got one more to showcase for you. This one's going to be a bit lower on the